more you look at quantum physics, the more mysterious and wondrous it becomes.
The question is, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
How do you know this? Consciousness is great. It's great.
Why are we here?
Where are we going?
What happens when I die?
What is reality? The only way that I will ever be great to myself is not what I do to my body, but what I do to my mind.
I never know when the whales are going to show up, but the whale sounds come through me.
My mother was a circus elephant rider. In between the acts, the big band would play and she'd sing. So that's where my voice came from. Spirits can come through my voice. Sometimes I'm like a chauffeur and I look in the back seat to see who I'm driving at the moment. I'm a neo-pagan, Taoist, Tibetan, Buddhist, quantum physicist, mystic. All rolled into some strange amalgam.
دوستان به برنامه مامتاک خوش آمدید. برنامه امروز برنامه هستش که مثل همیشه در منزل یا در اینجا مامتاک استودیو رو به روی شما باز کردیم و 3 مادر با 3 تجربه مختلف در کنار هم اومدیم که دل به دل صحبت بکنیم بر آنچه که مهمه در این دنیا و بر آنچه که برای شما آرامش، صلح و سلامتی میاره. Well-being. We welcome you to MomTalk. We have a very special guest, or special guests, I should say. I will start with our first special guest. So Betsy Chassie, she is one of those incredible, extraordinary moms that I have the honor of having her here on MomTalk today. And we met through social media. این از اون کانکشنایی هستش که واقعا الهیه و بخشیش برمیگرده به تکنولوژی و چجوری تکنولوژی ما مادرها رو میاره به کنار هم. بنابراین امروز در استودیو در یک سوی من مادری هست که از طریق تکنولوژی با هم آشنا شدیم و در سوی دیگه لیز سواتک که در پریسکول ما با هم آشنا شدیم و اون مامیهود اکسپریانس رو با هم شیر میکنیم. بنابراین دل به دل در کنار هم میشینیم که ببینیم سخنان بتسی چاسی و لیز سواتک چی هستش. بتسی چاسی رو بهتون اینترودوس میکنم. امروز اینجا هستیم که درباره آنلاین مگزین ایشون که بسیار گل کرده و دیروز لانچ کرده که حتما توصیه میکنم برین ساین اپ بکنین و سابسکرایب بکنین به خاطر اینکه مطالب بسیار جالبی به خصوص برای شما که در رابطه با spirituality و معنا پیدا کردن، معنا بخشی در زندگی به دنبال و جستجوی معنا هستین. بنابراین بشتابین. Okay? meaningfulmomsmag.com. این خبر داغی هستش که امروز بتسی چاسی دربارش باهاتون صحبت خواهیم کرد. ولی درباره بتسی چاسی براتون بگم که ایشون فیلم میکر هستن. Betsy Chassie is an award-winning filmmaker. Her most notable, for those of you who've seen it, What the Bleep Do We Know? این کلیپی که الان تماشا کردین از این فیلم بودش و فیلم بسیار جالبی هستش در پیدا کردن معنا بخشی در زندگی، در جستجوی معنا. اون چیزی که اریک فروم دربارش خیلی به اصطلاح تاکید میکنه. خب بنابراین اگر مشتاق هستین کتاب‌های ایشون نویسنده هستن در 4-5 کتاب best selling کتابایی که خیلی صدا کرده و گل کرده. So filmmaker, bookmaker, change maker. بتسی چاسی امروز مهمان گرامی برنامه هستن. وبسایت ایشون رو که اعلام کردیم meaningfulmommag.com. A place for moms looking to create meaning and purpose, to find a purposeful life. میدونیم خیلی از شما و خود من در midlife crisis به قول من را که قرار میگیریم، میخوایم بدونیم که من که هستم، ما کیستیم، برای چی به این دنیا آمدیم، کجا میریم و به قول معروف در جستجوی بقا و فنا به ما زندگی و اون کسانی که دور ما هستن، اگر مادر هستیم، بچه های ما، اگر سوشال اکتیویست هستیم، اون کارهایی که در کامیونیتیمون انجام میدیم. It's an honor.
Thank you. Wow,
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Betsy Chassie. It's so good to have you.
Thank you so much.
And Liz Svatek, she's no guest. You've seen Liz many times. I feel like you're a co-host.
I know. I am.
The Warrior Moms. The Warrior Moms, everyone. And we have some special news for you and lots of exciting information to share with you today. So let's start with Betsy Chassie. Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us about this magazine and your latest.
Wow, so it's called meaningfulmommag.com, and it was born out of a desire of mine. I'm 46, we were talking about our age.
46.
46! And, you know, my kids are 8 and 12, and I remember that when I was a first-time mom, and even a second-time mom, I had these little babies, and, you know, I'd pick up a book, and I would read about 10 pages in, and I thought, oh my God, I've already killed my children. Like, I've ruined them for life. And so last year I wrote a book with a bunch of other moms called It Came Out of My Vagina, Now What? And it's a book about parenting and conscious parenting. And the whole point was to just say to new moms that are coming, you know, out into the world with their babies, look, they will survive. Everything is going to be okay, and to create a sense of community and connection where so often we feel alienated and separated. And so the next step in that process for me after the book came out was to launch this website, Meaningful Mom Mag. And really it's for women who are interested maybe in something more than just the everyday rat race. You know, they're looking for meaning and purpose in their lives for themselves and their children. They're trying to create a more empowered experience, a more connected experience. They're tired of being in their cars. They're tired of always being on the phone. And so that's what Meaningful Mom is, and it launched today, or launched today for you. I don't know where we are time-wise, but it launched, and it's got a wonderful set of contributors from all over the world. So it's not just an American-based magazine. It's from people from all over the world talking about their experience about parenting.
I love that, and I love that you are bringing conscious parenting in a really productive, well-mannered way into, you know, the technology, the use of connecting networks and people. And if it was not because of technology, we would never meet. And so those of you who are watching all across the oceans از ایران یا هر کجا که با ما هستین، این رو بدونین که در تکنولوژی خیلی اتفاقای خوب میفته. بنابراین این مگزین از اون مگزینایی هستش که it's online. شما از ایران میتونین subscribe بکنین. We have an international audience, and so it's exciting that we get to share with you internationally, Canada, Europe, Iran, yay. This magazine, it's launched, it's very eclectic, like you say. You bring a lot of experts, moms who have lived through it, and you're a filmmaker, you're a bookmaker, you're a change maker, you're the glue, and you connect and bring more peace into the world. So I thank you for it.
Thank you.
And it's an honor. Yes.
Thank you.
And Liz, the warrior mom.
Yes. Well, we're all warrior moms.
Right?
We're all warrior moms. This one's definitely a warrior mom for sure.
Yeah. So how do you find connecting people or bringing people together or starting these tribes together as an element of change, especially in today's world, where the role of women is really bringing significant change and good change to our evolution or the movement, right?
Yeah, I think it's all about sharing your story. I think, you know, women sharing their stories, and, you know, they can be stories of loss, and, you know, they can be hard stories sometimes, but I think sharing your story makes everybody feel more connected and makes people feel like they're less alone. And I think one of the biggest problems that women have, moms especially, is just feeling really alone and alienated, and sometimes you feel ashamed of what you're going through. But having that validation from another person, you having contributors on your site. We highlight a Warrior Mom of the Month. We have a Warrior Wednesday where we accept submissions from moms, because we really want to highlight moms and what they're going through and what they're doing, so that we can validate each other and ourselves. And because it is hard what we're doing, and we're not just we're trying to have purposeful lives, we're trying to have meaning in our lives, and it is not easy, and you can feel like you're going crazy. So the way to not feel like you're going crazy is to talk to other moms and say, we're 46 and we're doing things and we're trying to make a difference. That's really I think the whole key to life.
It's inspirational.
I would just add to that what is so great about what you said is, our roles are changing, in that we're not just here anymore to nurture our children. We're almost required now to nurture the entire world, and to shift the way the world has sort of done business, which is a very patriarchal, mash 'em, bash 'em, stomp 'em way. And one of the things that I thought was really fun is, typically when you have two moms and we each have a website, it might feel like, oh, we're kind of in competition. And here we are connected, like, I love what you're doing, I love it, let's support each other. And that's a whole new way of being and doing in this world right now. And that's a big part of, I think, what we're talking about with other moms. And it starts with me being able to say to Liz, oh my God, the other day I wanted to eat my child because she made me mad, and her not judge me for that. And having that connection.
And he's saying, yes, I did that last week.
Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about it.
I did that last week.
Oh,
no problem.
Is that all? Right?
And I have to say, watching the two of you interact this morning was so beautiful, and it brought so much joy and peace to my heart. So thank you for that. And thank you for being conscious and warm and open-hearted. And it just feels great, because I think all of us, within us, we have that desire, right, to have an open heart, to have a warm heart, to be connected. Absolutely. But when there's a reflection, when you see other human beings connect that way, it inspires, it lights you up, it helps you shine better, right?
Well, and it's so great that you have a worldwide community too, because I feel like the world is connecting. And one of the sort of profound moments for me in realizing that I'm just like moms in any other country was I watched a video about a mom going through a loss, and it was similar to something that I had experienced. And she was somewhere from the Middle East, and it's such a completely different culture on so many levels, and yet we were having the same experience. And it was that moment that I realized, wow, I'm not alone. Not only am I not alone in my own neighborhood, in my own community, but women and mothers all around the world, we are connected and we are going through the same things. And as we begin to open up that dialogue, not just in our own neighborhoods, but around the world, we do get that feeling of connectedness and love and warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. And it's part of building compassion and peace learning, right? So when we really listen to someone like Dalai Lama speak about compassion, and he says, the essence of compassion is understanding that as human beings, we all have sufferings. And so when we are able to tap into other people's sufferings, and to really, deep in our souls and in our minds, to really wish for or pray for or meditate to try to reduce or lower the suffering of others that we don't know. They're not our friends, they're not our family, they're not someone that we personally feel connected to, but that on a universal level, that we really have a sense of responsibility or a sense of attraction to do that's the real practice of compassion. And it comes with practice and meditation and trying to really tap into that part. And so when you meet like-minded souls or hearts, it really is inspiring.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
so thank you for doing that for the world.
I think it's such an interesting time right now for women, and I'm sure you'll both agree, but I think it's such an interesting time right now for women, because even something like having a women presidential candidate, and whatever your views on that, we don't need to go there.
She brought up politics.
I brought it up.
I love it.
I did it.
I love it.
But I have to tell you that it really, seeing my children see a woman up on stage and commanding a room and saying, I accept this nomination, I mean, my head almost popped off. It just is, it's one of those things that you're like, oh, this is so much more than Republican and Democrat. This is girls, kids, adults, men, women, seeing a woman in that position, it just makes that seem more normal. Just like before when we didn't have an African American president, you almost couldn't imagine it. Now I feel like, oh, that's like totally a normal thing. I just want it to be a more normal thing to see women in these leadership roles and to be taking it on in a class A kind of way and to kind of, you know, give other women the stage and say, you know what, I'm doing things, you're doing things, you go you. And to have that kind of camaraderie, it gives me the chills. I just think it's such a great time for women right now, and I love it.
The great thing about what I loved about Hillary's speech was not only was she a woman in a really powerful position, but she talked about love, compassion, connected, peace. So she's bringing forward not only a platform of strength and empowerment for women, but also the feminine in a way that doesn't. For so long, the feminine seemed weak. You know, when you were talking about love and compassion, it was sort of like, you know, oh, that's so sweet and that's so cute. And now to watch her on the stage talk about her from that perspective of like, look, because that's what the world needs. I mean, every day I go out into the world and I think, you know, people talk about we have to fix this and we have to fix that. And I've often thought, well, you know, we can keep rearranging the furniture on the deck with all these different, we can keep thinking, oh, if we fix it this way. The truth is that we really need a metanoia. We really need a transformative change of heart. That's what humanity needs. And it starts with reconnecting to love and compassion first. And then we can look at all of our problems from that perspective as the way we've been doing it, which is put this here, and then it pushes together, you know? And that's the thing that I loved about Hillary's speech is that's where the foundation of her talk was from.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
And it was a position of strength.
Yeah. And very empowering for women and for our girls. We watched it also with our two girls, and their eyes were wide.
Oh,
and
I
they
was
were
crying,
just beaming.
Yeah,
it was one of
an
those
emotional
historical
moment.
moments.
It
was very emotional.
It was.
But you know, the other piece of it is for families, and I know families that, you know, like they're split. So maybe husband or wife, you know, they like Trump, and so in that duality, I think there's also this opportunity to practice compassion, because beyond a presidential candidate like Donald Trump, you know, if we can find a way to love and show compassion for
other people's opinions,
and also his human part,
right?
Because as a human being, you know, we all practice falling in love and loving beings. It's the behavior and, you know, the other aspects that we may not agree with or not like. So it gives us an opportunity. It's challenging, right? Every day in our house, it's challenging because in our family we're mixed. Some are Republican and some are with Hillary and some are with him.
There's a program, I don't know what it's called, so I'll mess up the name, because I won't say the name, but they're launching a new initiative. They're making a documentary about it called Love Your Bully. And it's such an interesting, beautiful concept that I wish that the schools and places talked more about, because there's a lot of talk about dealing with bullies and setting boundaries with bullies, and absolutely you need to set your boundaries. But you know, one of the things I often say to even my own kids is like, you know, that kid is hurting you because they're hurting. And the hardest thing, but the greatest thing that you could do is offer them love and compassion, even in the face of them being really mean to you, because there's something within them that is really suffering. And so they're starting this campaign that talks about the idea of how do we, because it's otherwise, you know, we're just punishing the bully and we're suspending the bully and we're shaming the bully, and it just perpetuates. And until we could, just like, you know, I did a post a few weeks ago on my Facebook page, and I said something like, enlightenment is when you can love Donald Trump. And it was like, even just writing it, my brain was about to explode, right? But the truth is, I finally, in my own life, looked at him and said, I understand what it is that he represents. He represents the hurt and the pain and the anger and the fear that we all have. He's just a reflection of that part of all of us. And so when I see him, I just sit back and ask myself, what am I reflecting into the world that revolves around fear and pain and anger?
And we can absolutely be selective, because at times we're you know, looking and hearing the choices and the behaviors that both presidential candidates have been
well,
involved
politics
with.
is a dirty business.
Yeah, right.
It's a dirty. I'm
And so
sorry.
we can be
It's pretty
selective.
hard to be a politician and not have
There you
some
go.
dark stuff going on. I'm sorry. It is. It's nearly impossible.
Comes with
Well,
the
you brought it up.
territory.
I know, but I'm saying I know that both. Hillary is not without fault. There is a lot.
Well,
People are.
isn't,
Exactly. But I'm not for a second. I just think from a historical perspective, as we're talking about, seeing a woman in a position like that is so important for the world to see.
Yes.
Because showing strength, showing compassion, that should be a sign of strength. Seeing a woman up there speaking, commanding, it should feel like, yes, that's normal.
Well, did you see that there's a picture floating around of, I think that there are now, I might get this wrong, 16 heads of state around the world that are women. I think it's 16 or 17 heads of state. So it's funny, I oftentimes think, people talk about America being the greatest country in the world, and I'm like, God, we're kind of far behind, guys, and we gotta pick it up a little bit.
We
because
do.
there are great female leaders around the world, and it's starting to, it's a big shift in terms of the masculine and the feminine. We're kind of coming out of the patriarchal paradigm, and my personal opinion is that we can't swing all the way to the feminine either. We have to find, there's a really beautiful balance between the masculine and the feminine, and when we can find that dance, and we can honor our men and our masculine for what their value is, and we can honor the feminine and the women for their value, and we can come together and honor those, that's it.
And to also honor that we all have a feminine and masculine piece within us. So when you're meditating, for those of you who are Buddhists, or you use meditation as a way to tap into your mind and really calm your mind and find peace within, there are practices where you can tap in and connect to your masculine and feminine side, and to integrate those two and really pray for more integration, because that's really what the world needs more.
And the more you have that within you,
Yeah.
I've noticed the more that I have that within me, the more I see it in the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, yes.
Yes, agreed. I think for women, one thing I've noticed about women, it always impresses me so much, is our ability to wear so many hats. We were talking about, she's saying, I wear so many hats. I said, I know. Join me. I just feel like women they wear so many hats, and one of the strengths that women have, I think, is that we're such good kind of organizers, and we kind of rally the troops. And so women are doing so many amazing things, even in their own communities. There are women just organizing things. Even when I see a woman who's just organizing her family get-togethers or organizing her friends coming together, I'm thinking, that's a talent and a gift. There's not everybody can take the time and realize that getting together, breaking bread together, being around a table, having conversation, having your children see people other ages with different opinions and different political affiliations. There we are again. It's so important, and I just think women are so good at kind of wearing many hats and embracing their masculine and feminine and doing all of these things.
In our
They really-
epigenetics,
it kind
right?
of is. It
we
really
have
is.
it in us. We're gatherers. Yes, we are.
Yes.
And it's wonderful when we come in communion with our honeys and significant others, that we together create that peaceful connection where we can uplift, inspire each other, because we all have different strengths. And so when we tap into those strengths with the intent to bring more peace to our community, it always works.
Yes.
It's always joyful.
Yes.
I heard you were going to ask me about conscious parenting, and
Yes,
essentially
please.
that is conscious parenting. It's the idea that I look at my child, and often there's a statement, you're here to mold your children. And my realization is that I'm not actually here to mold them. I'm just here to honor who they are. And to be sort of like, when you go bowling, there's the little bumpers on the side. Like, I'm just a really good bumper. Like, they can bump up against me and then they're off doing something else. But that to really honor their individuality, their journey in this reality, and that's a part of it. It's like, sometimes I hear something about a kid, like, my daughter's here watching, but it's really hilarious. My daughter likes to make horror movies, right? And I can't stand a horror movie, right? I hate it. And it's the absolute opposite of me. And so, to mold would be to go, oh, no, don't do that. And
Make something happy.
Try to keep her away from that.
Keep it sunny.
But to honor is to go, okay, if you want to make horror movies, that's great. Just to honor her creativity and how she expresses it. And that's when you talk about differences, when we can be able, we talked about it earlier with acceptance of realizing, somebody might be different than you. When you can look at your children and go, okay, my child has this different personality trait than mine, and I don't know what to do with it, but I'm just going to love it anyway. That is in essence conscious parenting.
But you know what? I think. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say one of the things I think that's hard about conscious parenting is for some reason some people think it's like, oh gosh, like it's so hard. Like I don't know, I can't even do it. Like what? But I think if you really look at it like almost like a mystery. Like if you can look at your child like, this is going to be interesting. I don't know what is going to happen here with you, and you're showing me signs of different things, and I'm just going to put the bumpers up so you can't kill yourself.
Right.
But I'm going to see how this unfolds, because I think children are so interesting. The older they get, they're interested in different things, or they may say something that makes you say, well, what about this? And you're kind of guiding, and you've got your bumpers, but it is kind of an exciting thing to see how a human being unfolds, how they become
who they
an
are.
adult,
it's
and who
so
they
great.
are. It really is exciting.
It is. I think for me, my goal with my parents, they kind of can be my parents. They didn't hear me say that. The goal with my kids is that if I can get them, if they can survive until they're 18, first of all, that's a big parenting win.
Yes.
And secondly, if they can learn emotional intelligence, like if they can grow up and understand how their brain works, how they attach meaning, how, my son asked me just 2 days ago, so Mom, is everything that I'm seeing just basically being made up in my brain by what I believe? And I'm like, yes. And I was like, it was a big mom win for me, because when they can understand that what you see is based on your perception, and that you can change your perception at any moment, and that's really where your power is, then that doesn't matter what they do in life. They're going to be fine. Whether they're a president or whatever they are, if they can really have that deep understanding of, I'm in charge of how I perceive, I get to decide what I believe. That's what Tipping Sacred Cows is about, and understanding how they work, they'll be great.
Awesome. And I have to say, this morning, I had the honor to meet your children, Max and Elora. And I always am fascinated by observing the interaction between siblings as well as the parents and the children. And I was really pleased, and it made my heart so happy to watch your children interact so autonomously, and to be so connected to their inner selves, and to know what they like and what they don't like, and so expressive, and to bring more peace into the world. You can always tell, you get the sense of who's really interested in bringing more peace into the world, right? And so I have to say congratulations.
Thank you.
They're
definitely expressive and independent children.
Well, that's how you want them.
I always say to my daughter, who's entering that preteen stage, that I made one mistake with you, and I said question everything. I forgot to add one part to that. It should have said
except what I say.
Except your mother. It should have said question everything except your mother.
Yes.
Oh, so
that was an important addendum.
All you new moms, that's the real question everything except your mother. Add that part, and then it'll be good. But I like that I probably shouldn't say, they're literally watching, so I can say this, and but it's true. I like that my kids challenge. We're working on learning how to be powerful. The girls coming into the world today are extremely powerful, energetic beings, and they have to be, because they have a job to do. It's their time, and so they're coming in extremely strong-willed, very not just ready, and so there's a little bit of a edge sometimes. So I'm working to try to help guide that edge so it's not so sharp, but that I still think every day, there are days when she really makes me mad, and we'll have a tussle, a power struggle, but at the end I sit back and I go, good for her. Good for her that she has an opinion, and she didn't just lay down, and because that'll come useful. And it's tough when you're a mom, because you want to not kill that spirit, and that's a big part of conscious parenting as well. You want to guide the spirit and help them learn. I always say I want to teach them how to wield it, so that it comes from peace, and it comes with a more softer edge. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't have their boundaries, and they shouldn't have their opinions, and they shouldn't know how to communicate them.
I'm going to take this opportunity to translate a little bit, to summarize some of these wonderful, precious pointers, for you younger moms. به نظر میاد که برای اون سری از ماها، مادرایی که در شاید دهه 40 سالگی یا 50 سالگی یا بزرگتر طی می‌کنیم اون دوران رو، یک به اصطلاح علم و دانش و شاید اون conscious parenting، اون آگاهی یا خودآگاهی وجود داره که کمک میکنه ما مادرها یا پدرها رو که یه مقدار بیشتر عقب بشینیم و بذاریم که بچه‌ها با اون طبیعتشون، با خلق و خوشون اون سری کارها و رفتارها رو که میخوان انجام بدن بکنن و ما اونجا باشیم که مثل یک آینه گونانه به اونها responsiveness نشون بدیم یا به اونها بگیم که چی اتفاق میفته. بنابراین اون سری از ماها که مثل awakened families، اونایی که مثل به قول دکتر شفالی میگه که اونایی از ما که میدونیم این شناخت و آگاهی رو داریم که ما تا موقعی که خودمون رو بزرگ نکنیم و با خودمون آگاهی و رابطه خوب و صلح آمیز نداشته باشیم نمیتوانیم مادری و پدری با بچه‌هایی بکنیم که به اونها میخوایم صلح و آرامش یاد بدیم. بنابراین این از اون نکات ظریف کانشس پرنتینگ هستش که این دو مادر نازنین بتسی چاسی و لیز سواتک با تجربه بسیار پربارشون برای شما هدیه آوردن و این گفتگوها رو داریم الان با هم در کنار هم پیش میبریم. چالنجینگه، میدونم، به خصوص برای شمایی که بچه‌هایی دارین که spirited هستن، بچه‌هایی دارین که شاید یه خورده بیشتر they push the envelope, right؟ خورده بیشتر شما رو چالش میکنن، چالش میذارن برای شما. بچه‌هایی که خودرأی هستن، خودمختار هستن، بچه‌هایی که انرژیشون بالاتر هستش یا سمج هستن. از خیلی از شما من در آفیسم میشنوم خانم دکتر بچه ما خیلی سمجه، ول نمیکنه، به قول معروف یه چیزی رو که میچسبه هی میچسبه تا تش بره. برای شما این نکات ظریف رو اینجا دارن مطرح میکنن که کانشس پرنتینگ این هستش که شما اجازه بدین اونها بتونن سپیس و فضایی داشته باشن که خود آنی یا خودشون رو پیدا بکنن، به غیر از اون فشار یا اون پروجکشن ها یا اون انترجکشن هایی که ما به عنوان یک مادر یا پدر رو اونها میذاریم. بنابراین اونها individual و شخص خودشون هستن. All right, back to our converse.
That was so poetic. I almost wanted to just lay back and take
Don't you feel like you start to understand it? That's what's killing me. I feel like I know what she's saying now. Like I've been with her now this many times. I swear to you, I know what she's saying. I really do.
Yeah.
I start to be like,
I believe you.
Yes.
So let me ask a question. What language are you speaking?
Farsi.
I thought so.
Yeah.
So you'll enjoy this because you're probably a fan of Hafez, right?
Of course.
So
of course, who's not a fan of Hafez?
Right? I had the pleasure of interviewing Daniel Ladinsky.
Oh,
and
my
so
goodness.
he translates most of Hafez into English.
Yes.
So if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a great interview.
Did you guys hear that?
There's a great interview.
برای شمایی که با ترنسلیشن اشعار حافظ علاقه دارین، اگر برین به وبسایت بتسی چاسی، ایشون به اصطلاح مصاحبه‌ای دارن که این مطالب رو و اشعار حافظ رو اونجا گذاشتن و میتونین اونها رو تماشا بکنین. برای خیلی از شما که بایلینگوال هستیم، میدونم در ایران به من خبر میدن که در ایران بسیاری از کسانی که برنامه تو رو نگاه میکنن بایلینگوال هستن، انگلیسی خیلی خوب صحبت میکنن. I get emails and calls from Iran and a big, the viewers are following. They're bilingual, so it's great. So so they will enjoy that.
They'll find that on betsychassie.net, and probably not on Meaningful Mom. But it's a great. He introduced me to Hafez, and I read him. I was just reading him last night. I have several of his books, and it's really fun just to grab a book and pick a page and. Go for it and read. So anyway.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And do your children also listen to the
Sometimes
poems?
they're just getting into it. I think that so the way Daniel does it, he takes a little bit of liberties with some of the poetry. So he doesn't do a literal translation. He does what he calls sometimes a meaning and translation or an intent translation. So sometimes they like them, and sometimes they're like, "What is this dude talking about?"
Right? Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot with my kids. But they get used to it, and then familiar to them. Like, you know, I do this with listening to Dalai Lama and some of the leaders on peace learning. I pop in the DVD. So instead of, you know, cartoons and other things, I pop in these interviews or DVDs. And at first they couldn't follow and they were all, Mom, can you change it? Or let's, but
That's
now
a great idea,
they're
though.
into it.
That's a
and
great
they're like,
idea.
Mom, what did he just say about compassion? So it's really like sinking in, and they're like
love
soaking
that.
it in.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
Nelly, good idea.
You know what's great is like, I'm not a great meditator. I'm a terrible meditator. The minute I sit down and meditate, I'm like, I can't meditate. And you know, there was this talk about, you know, feeling shame, like in my community, you know, well, are your children meditating yet? And we're like, well, they're 4 months old, so, you know, probably better than most of us at this point. And so, you know, the idea of trying to sit them down to meditate, they kind of rebelled against it. They were like, we don't like this. And I'm like, of course they don't like this. I don't like feeling forced. I meditate differently. And so there was a lot of guilt and shame around, well, look, my friends posting pictures of their children's meditating. And I'm like, okay, my kids don't do it that way. But we do take lots of walks in nature. We do have our own sort of process of it.
There you go.
But what was fascinating was, you know, there's moments when you're out somewhere and one of your children will say something to somebody else, and you just have this moment of like, wow, they listen. They are getting what, you know, they are listening to that DVD. And my kids go and to work with me a lot, and they've been a lot of interviews, a lot of filming. They, you know, I force them to watch my movies at least once. And so, you know, it does get into them somehow, and it's always neat when you're out to hear something to go, oh, I don't have to worry. They are getting it. They may not be getting it in the approved way. Yeah. They may not be sitting down and meditating every morning, but it's getting into their hearts.
But I heard that you like sitting in your red rocking chair, and your meditation comes when you connect to your spirit and soul and nature.
Well, and I work outside. Like my office. I mean, I think for a mom, I work out of my house, and one of the things that I had to work on with my kids was this idea that, okay, when I sit here, I'm working. This is my work. And so my office is actually outside because I love to be outside. I love to watch the butterflies. Every time I go to a home or I pick a home, it has to have a magical tree in the backyard. And that's sort of my space. And so for me, a meditation, like a few months ago, my daughter put on my phone a little reminder that said, "You are loved." And so it was just a cute thing that she did, and I left it there. And so every day that goes off at noon, and that's my reminder to stop. Whatever I'm doing, I get up, I walk around my backyard, I pick a flower, I may pick up the dog poop, whatever I do, you know, and I turn that into my meditation.
I love that. And when you take those moments to notice the hummingbirds and to notice the butterflies and to notice the dragonflies, which they're now out, it really is related to meditation, to connecting to your inner self and getting grounded again, right? Feeling your connection, your relationship with God. And so I love that you know, you do that, and I know you do that.
Yeah, actually, I have a funny story about that. We were just in Washington, D.C., and we were only there for 24 hours, so of course I wanted them to see every single thing, you know, and meet Mrs. Obama, anything I could do in 24 hours. So we were there for 24 hours, and we did this kind of moonlight monument tour, which is fantastic, except that it was 175 degrees outside. So even though it's nighttime in Washington, D.C., we were dying. It was so hot and so oppressive, and so we're going around, you know, the bus did not have air conditioning because it's supposed to be open air and like enjoy it. And normally that would be so wonderful, but it was 175 degrees. So we were driving around, and then we finally, you know, we're getting off at different stops, we're looking at things, and I'm like, look over here, look over here, look over here, and just stay there, take a picture. And then all of a sudden I realized I was watching them, and they were so excited because they saw lightning bugs for the first time. And they had never seen a lightning bug. So I was like, I looked at my husband and I said, this is so much more important than a monument right now, because the pure joy of catching a lightning bug and seeing how it works, and they were amazed and so thrilled. And I was thrilled. I haven't seen one in a long time, so that I really was like, okay, just you know what? Like, this is let's just be in the moment and have a good time. Let's not worry about how many monuments we see or whatever, you know. But it was
there's the internet. They can always
yeah,
the
right.
pictures are better there anyway.
You know what I mean? It was just one of those moments where I was
beautiful.
like, no, they need to, you need to notice the butterflies and look at the firefly. You need that. Otherwise, you feel like you go crazy.
Well, and as a mom, we get, like, I know for a long time I was like, oh my God, I have to have my children experience this, and they have to experience that, and they need to be speaking 4 languages, and they need to, like, my child is 2, and they don't read yet. And all those things kind of get stuck up in your head. I finally just sort of let it go. And like yesterday, I surrendered. I'm launching my website on today. My whole website is about to launch. So yesterday, they were supposed to go to Magic Mountain with friends, and I could not find their tickets. I had season packets, and I'm like, oh my God. And the only way that I could get them was to go to Magic Mountain. And so I just looked at myself and said, all right, I'm going to Magic Mountain today, and just dropped everything and went to Magic Mountain with them and had a great time. And what was amazing about it was we got home around 5 o'clock. We didn't go for 17 hours. I can't do that. We were like 4 or 5 hours. I got home, and I had plenty of time to get everything done. It was the surrendering to what was in that moment of going like, okay, this is what's happening. I'm going to go with it. And everything got done. My son, as a matter of fact, I did come home and do one thing and broke my website for about 15 minutes last night, to which my kids were like, you can fix it, Mom. And I'm like, why did I touch that? But even within that, everything worked out perfectly. And I think the day was better because I just surrendered into like, I'm going to Magic Mountain as opposed to sitting there all day.
I feel like, and that's something that, we are always kind of touting on my site, is that I always feel like women are, and moms especially, are trying to shove so much into a day. And like you get an extra 15 minutes, you're like, I'm going to run to the cleaners.
Right.
I'm going to pick up the dog poo. I just feel like that is the worst thing you can do. Sometimes when you get that extra 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, I think you just need to sit down and check in with yourself and say, how am I doing right now? Or what is going on in my mind? Or let me just have a thought.
What?
Let me have a thought. Because I just feel like we're running at such a crazy hamster wheel pace as mothers. And I feel like you don't need to take every extra 5 minutes and fold the laundry or do something. Like, you really need to just have a moment to yourself and be able to think and be able to reflect and take something in. I just feel like it's so important.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think part of conscious parenting and mindfulness and peace learning parenting is doing just that, taking those pauses, being genuine and honest with ourselves, the inner child, and to be able to raise our inner child, right? We all know what it feels like to have a more mature sense of self. And so to really invest and put the time and put the energy and put the effort in raising our inner child, because that really ultimately helps bring more peace into the world, into our families, into our relationship with our children, so that we're not forcing things. It's not forceful, it's just smooth. There is harmony in the universe. And so when we find that smooth harmony, it really feels great. I couldn't agree with you more, and good for you and all our community who's watching, for taking those pauses.
I was just going to say, we have a section on the meaningfulmommag.com website where a contributor is doing 101 dream dates for mom. So, because a lot of times I found in the beginning that when I would get those minutes, I didn't know what to do with them. So I would sit there and go, oh my God, well, what do I do? And then I would waste the time in sort of this uncomfortable, I don't know what to do with myself, because maybe I didn't know how to meditate or didn't know how to do something. So there's a section called 101 Dream Dates, and they're all little things that you can do within 15 minutes.
Oh, that's
15
great.
minutes that can give you that exact feeling. So
That's great.
Just started.
Can we get the website up, and can you please walk us through, so for someone who's watching and they like to subscribe, what can they do and how can they get more involved with your community?
So they can just go to meaningfulmommag.com, and there's a way to sign up for a newsletter right there.
Okay.
And right over to the right. And we've just launched, so we're not completely full yet with our content. We've got a lot of content up there already, and we'll be adding more
I was
throughout the
going to
month.
say, it's so impressive.
Thank you
so much.
And
My
we
goodness.
invite you guys to, there's a place for any mom to submit an article if they'd like to. And
Even from Iran
anywhere
or
in the world.
Germany and
As a matter of
Canada?
fact, I will be having a contributor. One of the women that I met in the last year who's a coach, she's a Muslim coach for Muslim women, and we just fell in love with each other. And she's a mom, and she's going to be writing some articles as well. And so there's coaches from, moms from literally almost every country: South Africa, England, Australia, France, Russia, it's very global.
Let's
and
go
so,
global.
Yeah, and the idea is that
Beautiful.
we're all moms and we all have the same thing. So
I love it.
Awesome.
thank you. I'm really happy with that website.
It's beautiful.
It looks
Except that I
great.
broke it
Looks
for a little
great.
while last night. It's still a
Looks
little.
great.
See, the slider's not working right, but that's
I'm
okay.
so
Shh, that's all right.
excited. I can't wait
Yeah,
to get on it.
it's just something that I've always wanted to do, and it's completely different. You know, I'm a filmmaker and I'm a writer,
Yeah.
and so typically I'm making movies and stuff like that. And this was just something that had been in my heart, and I just thought with a friend of mine, a psychologist named Dr. Jane Cox, who's from the UK, we just said, let's do this. Let's just do it and see what happens. And so that's what we're doing.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Thank
It's
you.
up and running, you all.
Yay.
Go check it out, subscribe. And Liz, what's happening with the Warrior Moms?
So I'm really excited. We are going to do our first event.
Woo! Woo!
We're going to have we're going to start a speaker series. Actually, it's going to be a series of events. But our first speaker, and I know you know her because you just had her on the show, is Malika Chopra.
Yay,
Deepak
go
Chopra's
Malika.
daughter,
Yeah.
and living with intent, and she has intent.com, and she's a
Yes.
soccer mom, which I love, and I love her humor and the way she kind of goes through life, and she's such a real person. She's so approachable. So she's going to come and speak about getting off the hamster wheel. We're on the hamster wheel. How do you get off? For moms. So we're going to do a little luncheon, and we're going to drink our rosé.
I'm coming.
Probably
Yay.
Whispering Angel, just to give them a plug again. And we're gonna learn about some ways to kind of get off the hamster wheel and feel more conscious and feel like we can take care of ourselves a little better as moms, because it is hard. It's hard. So we're really looking forward to it. October 14th.
Congratulations.
October 14th, it's coming.
Congratulations. Yay, it's coming, everyone. So, اخبار بسیار زیاد هست اینجا در شهر لس آنجلس. داریم آماده میشیم برای اینکه مدارس دوباره شروع میشه. Back to school. میدونم خیلی از شما مامانا هیجان زده هستین. I love that. Have you seen that dance, the monkey dance of this is what it feels
I
like?
saw that yesterday. I showed it to my kids. I'm like, this is your mom.
Yes.
The moms are getting ready, you all. You know what I mean. ولی خب خیلی excitingه که بچه‌ها رو داریم در خونه و بچه‌ها خیلی I love having the kids during summertime. We get some downtime, quality time, heart-to-heart time, and it's so pure and joyful. ولی خب back to school means back to business, which means for MomTalk, we're getting ready for back to business as well. So come and visit us, join us on MomTalk LA, the Facebook page, or andishe.tv. از پرودیوسر برنامه امیر بسیار سپاسگزارم، آقای پرویز کاردان، اندیشه تیوی، و تا به اصطلاح هفته آینده که براتون مطالب بسیار جالبتری خواهیم داشت یا جالب در رابطه با back to school. چون امروز نتونستیم زیاد درباره back to school صحبت بکنیم. We gotta come back and do another show on back to school because I know a lot of moms and dads and kids are looking forward to starting fresh, a new beginning. It's a new school year.
Moms have their school advent calendars going. They're counting down the days until school starts.
And your daughter, she did her back to school shopping already.
We are just about ready to go.
That's awesome.
We just I love that. I'm like you. I kind of like him in the summer, and then there's a point where you're like, okay, we need.
We've done this.
We've done this now. Everybody needs to get back to
I'm
our
like
schedule.
that too. I feel like we've had such a wonderful summer, and we've traveled, and we've had great experiences, and so much downtime and connection. And then I'm like, okay, you need to get out of the house and go to school. Someone else is going to watch you now.
Right, so that we can get some other stuff done.
Yes.
I think we just all kind of get tired of looking at each other, and going back to school and back to work brings new stories to the house too.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
The kids
That's
too,
true.
because the kids are now just all excited. Mom, have they sent out the email where you get to know like whose classroom you're going to be in and who's going to be in your classroom? بچه هم هیجان زده هستن که برگردن مدارس و میدونم در ایران خب به زودی بازگشت به مدارس اتفاق میفته، شروع میشه اینجا در 15 آگوست در لس آنجلس LAUSD شروع میشه و بعد به تدریج مدارس دیگه برمیگردن و بچه ها شروع به آغاز سال نو. پس تا هفته آینده روز و روزگار خوش. We're gonna say goodbye everyone. Thank you for joining us. Bye.